Hi guys, my name is Harry Yotis. I've been a professional trader for 20 years now. I started my career way back in 2005 working for National Bank Financial. And for the past 10 years, I've been trading my own account. So having said that, let's get started with today's daily market update for Tuesday, the 18th of November. This is the S&P 500, and this candle right here is Tuesday, almost like an indecision candle. If you recall yesterday, we said that for the first time ever, we exaggerate, but for the first time in a long time, since like at least 6 months, going back, the S&P 500 closed below the 50. So although that's not necessarily bearish, it does break this beautiful trend that's been going on for months. So that just brings it back to neutral. However, today, on Tuesday, the market continued its downward trend, short-term trend, and basically finished like at an indecision candle. Okay, so technically speaking, we're at an indecision candle. We broke the trend, and we don't know what's going on. Well, all of this, whatever we're talking about today, the major theme today and this week is basically NVIDIA and jobs. NVIDIA earnings coming out tomorrow, Wednesday, after market, and jobs data coming out because the government shutdown is now over. It's coming out Thursday morning. So tomorrow we're going to have a double whammy because, people will be positioning themselves for these two big minefields coming up. So no matter what happened today, like you can see in the intraday action, let's go to the 10-minute chart. Okay. This is the day. This is starting at 9:30, okay? And it finished off at, almost like a sideways S pattern. But we got this capitulation low type selling. Everybody's still buying puts. But then we rallied. Okay, we rallied throughout the day. However, because we stalled for a long period, you knew we weren't going to go even higher. I mean, the downtrend is still, the intraday downtrend is still intact, okay? We didn't break up above the 674 highs. And the reason for that is that people are still skittish. They're still buying puts, protecting themselves against what could happen with NVIDIA earnings tomorrow. They think the market's going to crash, okay? So the intraday action is it tells us what we all know is that everyone is waiting, not just waiting, but waiting for the big news and positioning themselves short. Okay? And we can tell this because we always pair our technical analysis with sentiment analysis. And if we look at the fear and greed index, we're down at 11. This morning we went down to 9. Okay, this is extreme fear. And as you can see, all the sub indices, momentum, stock price strength, everything, breadth, extreme fear. Put call ratio still at extreme fear. Volatility, extreme fear. We ticked up here. Safe haven demand, everything at extreme fear. I mean, you don't get more fearful in this in the markets, okay? And that is because everybody thinks this bull market is over. And the VIX is showing this. I mean, we hit 25 and above. Okay, so these are like spikes showing that the fear is palpable. Everybody, not just the fear, but everybody is positioning themselves short. Okay, so when I see stuff like this, I mean, as a trader, okay, even if I was bearish, I will not take any short positions here. I mean, the risk reward is so bad. I mean, I think even if NVIDIA turns out to be bad and it drops, 20% overnight, who knows? I don't think the down move in SPY is going to be that big. Maybe down to 650. Maybe we touch this black line, which is the 100. Because like everybody is already short. It's probably most likely going to turn into like a buy the news event, sell the rumor, buy the news when you're bearish. So like I would not take any bearish positions, short positions right now. It's just the risk reward is not good. Okay, you should have had them before, if you had them. Okay, so like to me, if NVIDIA turns out to be good or even fair, and the jobs are like weak, we could have like you're going to see a massive unwind of this trade. A massive unwind of this bearishness. So yeah, I'm not bearish here. I just don't see it. Everybody is short. I don't like that. Okay, so but what did come out is that we had some little inklings of what we were going to see in the jobs report, and the thing that did come out is the initial jobless claims, which came in at 232,000. So, but this is for October the 18th. Okay, it's very lagged. Okay, very lagged. It shouldn't move the needle on anything. Okay, because it's very lagged and it's starting to go up. Who knows? Maybe now they're at 250, 260. We don't know thanks to the government shutdown. So like if you look at the Fed Watch tool, you see that the odds of a rate cut in December are still 50-50. It used to be the cut was here, used to be much higher. But after this uncertainty, we don't know. If we have good jobs, maybe the Fed doesn't cut. I mean, the Fed is not doing a good job of explaining themselves in terms of cutting rates. Okay, they still think that they're going to pause in December. And that's also adding to this fear. Okay, because the market wants cuts. Okay, I suspect we get cuts. So we had the initial jobless claims coming out, and what else of note that came out? We had like Anthropic there was a deal between Anthropic, Microsoft, and NVIDIA in the AI space to invest $350 billion into the AI domain. Okay, because we know that this is basically NVIDIA. Everything ties to NVIDIA and what's going to happen tomorrow. Okay, so might as well look at NVIDIA. Okay, and as you can see, that did close today below the 50. I mean, it did that before, so it's not just an exact science, as long as it stays here, it's good. But it's all about the earnings, okay? This chart still looks bullish, but the earnings could really drop this down. Who knows? 20% could, 20%, 36 down to 150. It's a big move. And people will get really, really scared, okay? But if they do really, really well, or just average, I think it's not going to be that big of a drop, because then bearishness is already built. A lot of the bearishness is already built in, okay? So this is what my big take is for Tuesday, is that everyone is bearish on NVIDIA and jobs. At least they're bearish, not on the jobs. They're bearish because I think the jobs will be bad. They're bearish on the reaction to all these two big minefields coming up. Oh, and let's not forget we have OPEX, okay, options expiry on Friday. So there's that too. Okay. So the other thing that came out today was that MBS Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, is going to invest $1 trillion in the U.S. Okay, not 600 billion, but 1 trillion. And this didn't move the needle at all. Okay, so you know that this, maybe he's lying, maybe it's over 10 years, 20 years, who knows. This did absolutely nothing to the market. Going back to our theme that the big driver is going to be NVIDIA and jobs coming up. Okay. Another interesting tidbit of information is that Elliott Management built a large stake in Barrick. So we're having these big funds now coming in and buying Barrick. It says that Elliott's stake here is at least 700 million, which is fairly large, making it one of its top 10 investors, Barrick's top 10 investors. So the other thing that we should be noticing here is Bitcoin and gold, because gold and Bitcoin are related in recent time, in the past 1 or 2 weeks, because as the market has been going down, okay, we also had Bitcoin going down on a capitulation type of event. Okay, and today is Tuesday. We had this great candle where they shorted it or sold it off, a capitulation type of event, and bought it back on relatively high volume. This is good. You want to see this if you think the capitulation is over. And if you know me, you know that because of this big capitulation, we also saw gold going down. Institutions that are heavily into Bitcoin right now were selling Bitcoin and selling gold to raise liquidity for those positions. Because you rarely see gold and the market go down, which is what was happening for the past 3 days. You don't see that. You would see gold bid. Okay, so if Bitcoin's capitulation event is over, or almost over, like dying and dead, we should expect to see gold go up as well, because gold was going down with Bitcoin and the market. So I suspect that if this Bitcoin sell-off is over, gold will start catching a bid and going higher, and in consequence, I suspect silver will catch a bid as well. You can see silver has been performing very, very well. It's almost like a carbon copy of gold. However, to me, people will say this could be a double top, and yes, it could be, but it could also be a cup and handle forming before the up move. You don't know. You have no idea. All we know is that fundamentally speaking, gold and silver by proxy have fundamental drivers that are moving it. That's why I'm leaning long on these precious metals. So to reiterate, SPY is basically waiting for NVIDIA. Every trader on the street and his mama is positioned short. So I think the effect, even if it's bad for NVIDIA, will be muted. And I really think that the risk is to the upside because everybody's positioned short. I don't like going with a consensus trade. The market doesn't like rewarding the consensus trade, especially when it's so far tilted to one side. So these are my thoughts for Tuesday, the 18th of November. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow for another daily market update. And please subscribe and like if you like this video, and drop me a comment. I will be glad to answer and maybe review a stock pick that you have, see what I think about it. Everything is on the table. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.